Kalimera, if I'm correct pronunciation, and welcome, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. I will make a strange presentation in some way because I am from Huawei, but I am also from some international standardization organization working on climate change and so on. I will start with just this slide. This figure is what is planned for the ICT sector to reduce the carbon emission from 2015 to 2030 to respect Paris Agreement. Next week will be COP27 Sharm el-Sheikh, so we are discussing about this. And you can see that data center, theoretically, if you want to arrive at save something, we need to reduce our emission of 45%. So we need to cut a lot of emission data center. Emission data center is not meant only energy consumption, but meant also how you build a data center, which equipment you use in data center. Because when you buy something, when you install something, when you build something, you in reality have emission. There is an emission linked to that. And it's something that needs to be considered. In ITUT, we wrote the standard before that was wrote with GSMA and JESI and science-based targets. So with a lot of organizations that agreed on that number. We work also on some standard on data center in best practice, in how to check the data center efficiency, how a standard of the procurement criteria for data center, which is a characteristic that you need to consider, how we can guideline someone to, when we want to build a data center, what they need to consider, and maybe some smart energy solution for that. This is the idea of the basic of the work that we made in ITU. If we look on the procurement criteria, it's very simple document, it's more a suggestion on the first is what is a green data center. It's strange, but it's something that was not defined. A green or sustainable data center can be defined as a repository for storage, management, dissemination that consider the maximize the energy efficiency and minimize the environmental impact. So another time, not only energy, it's also other characteristics to consider. The idea is to look on where is located the data center, which equipment you are using, and to design to reduce the total environmental impact. What is inside? Is consider what are the characteristics of active equipment, also IT, not only facility. And from facility, there is a lot of consideration regarding, are you sure that you need a tier 4 data center? Because this is very important. To build a tier 4 data center have more environmental impact than to build a tier 3 or tier 2. Are you sure that what you want to do? This is a very big issue, not only economic, but also from environmental point of view. Then, is some characteristic that is clear now. Have a hot air or cold air containment, UPS with a higher efficiency, and so on. Then another big point is the maintenance. We wrote a standard on operating system for monitoring, that is the standard 1305. That is how to apply artificial intelligence and big data to the management data center. How to use artificial intelligence to have optimization of the cooling, optimization of the maintenance, to reduce another time the environmental impact of the cooling, but also the maintenance phase. Because have a good maintenance phase, a very artificial intelligence driven can reduce a lot the environmental impact of a data center. The smart energy solution for data center is what is now discussing, how to integrate different sources of energy, use solar and grid, solar and some generator in a data center, multiple sources also of cooling, how to coexist in different type of cooling, traditional cooling with free cooling or heat exchanger and so on. Is a discussion a guidance on what you need to consider, which are the requirements to implement that. And moving to which should be the trend of data center in energy. Actually, all of us know sure the high energy price, because something that we see all. Another topic will be the very high power consumption inside the rack, the density of power inside the rack, and then which are the transformation of our carrier call or people. But before to go on this, I just put 3 slides for maybe on which are the future European requirements. European Commission, is looking on a new regulation for energy efficiency that include inside data center. And they put inside some requirement on reporting, on measure some KPI for data center, and some line about the code of conduct or what they impose to be considered for data center realization. What they ask? They probably, because all of this is draft, okay, is that for a data center with an IT power, we're speaking about IT power, not a total consumption of data center, just to avoid any discussion about which is the PUE and so on. We're speaking about only IT. If you have more than 100 kilowatt of data center, at the end is like a medium data center, a small data center, you need to report a lot of information. How big is, how much power you have, the temperature set point, strange, but it's something that they want, how much of the data traffic that you are managing, and other information on that, including the consumption and so on. Another data that you need, that the data center owner need to report is some KPI. So they need to measure some KPI that is defined by Sensen and KYC, depending on which standard you want to use. The PUE, sure. But they introduce other KPI. How much renewable energy you use. They energy reuse factor, that is something that is, I suppose, hard to define and to use in Greece as in Italy, because it's, we are a hot country, so and for us it's hard to reuse the energy, the calo, the cooling effective ratio, the carbon usage effectiveness, and the water usage, how much water you use. It is becoming very important. And all of this is something that the data center owner will need to report. That means that they need to have a monitoring system and sensor that measure also that quantity, not only energy consumption. Then there is a note about code of conduct. Is the code of conduct for European code of conduct for data center. I think it's 10 years or more that exist. And for biggest data center, there is an encourage to use what is established by the code of conduct, the best practice in the European code of conduct, before that European will define some rule. What is very clear is that they want to have waste heat recovery, but likely, so they are not only on Nordic area, they said if it's technically and economically feasible. So you need to analyze if you do or not that. Then if we going out from the law, go a little more on technical, if we go to what should be the next generation data center, sure need to be sustainable. This is something that is a trend and it's something that we not to look. Another point is the long construction period. So we need to simplify how much is possible data center architecture. One other point is the difficult management, and we need to have autonomous driving. We need a data center that is moving and working autonomously without human intervention. And the last is reliable. The future data center, when you will build a data center, people will don't ask to you only how much is the cost of energy for the cooling, if I put something in your data center, how much is reliable? A data center is something that needs to work always, without any interruption. So it is very important, the reliability of a data center. Need to be sustainable. We need to have a data center that uses the resource in an efficient way, but on all life cycle, not only on the operation. So we need to have all green, from use better the energy, green energy maybe, use less water, use less space, and look on how to reduce the climate impact on that. Need to be efficient on looking on the KPI that we see before. So now in the past we speak about only PUE, now we are moving about water, sure, and then we will become the other. And then all need to be recyclable. We are moving to circular economy, we need to apply the criteria of circular economy also to a data center. Produce less waste, a long life, and something that you can maintain, repair, and so on. From all what is inside the data center, not only the facility, but also the active equipment. And so we need to look on whole on this. Could be a little crazy to think to build a fantastic data center from facility point of view and then put inside bad equipment. It's not what we need to do. We need to look on whole what's inside the data center. What means simplified? Think in a different way how to realize a data center. Simplify the architecture, think on prefabricated, moving more on prefabricated, because they have different advantage. Simplify the power supply system to have more integrated solution, more industrialized and in some way prefabricated solution, and also simplify the cooling to move from chilled water to how much is possible for cooling of air handling unit and so on, depending a lot obviously on where you build the data center. Autonomous driving means use how much is possible the potential of artificial intelligence from the maintenance of a data center, the maintenance, optimization, and operation. So have a O&M that is automatic, that make some operation in autonomous way, like to filter alarm, to locate which is the real alarm and not all the change of the alarm, go to something like predictive maintenance. This is very important. Why in your car you have a yellow lamp that said you, please try to go to the mechanic because you will have some problem in the car. We need to apply the same philosophy in a data center. Have some information before a failure. This can help a lot to reduce the cost of maintenance because you can plan the maintenance. Then, automatic energy efficient optimization. We can use artificial intelligence to optimize the cooling in a data center, using a lot of sensors that is in human is impossible to look on 1,000 information. With artificial intelligence, we can use all of the information we collect for a data center to realize efficient cooling, reducing the hotspot, and maximize the energy efficiency for the cooling. And the last is operation autonomy. So maximize the resource value. Maximize resource value means have a plan, something that helps you to plan the increase of data center, the usage efficiency of how to use the resource in the data center. What means reliable? Reliable means have a secure architecture, thinking on component level, device level, system level, to have something that is reliable, that help a lot on enhance the resilience and the defense to failure. So you need to have hot swap component level, something that I see before, to hot swap a battery and so on. A redundant design of a device level to have 0 millisecond transfer from system A to system B is the switching from one system to the other need to be without any delay immediately to arrive at a very big availability of a system. This is mean to have a very big reliability. And another time have a proactive reliability. Another time use artificial intelligence routine to have a predictive maintenance. Predictive maintenance can help also on the reliability, because if you have received an advice that you need to go to look on some fan on a UPS, you cannot have a failure. And the automatic fault response, so is discovery method which is the real alarm. So you don't see 100 red lamp because is one breaker is go down. To see really which is the cause of a failure. This helps a lot for the matter. You think to have a very big data center that is 2,000 square meters. You cannot spend half hour to go to see which is the alarm. You need to be clearly the operation system that you give you information. Go on this place. This is the real reason of a failure. Going green means build a low carbon smart data center, looking on all the chain, on the power supply, which is the source of energy. Sure, we need to move a lot to green, to renewable sources. Have a low carbon construction with prefabricated modularization, have a less impact. It should be something that no one will look. We discuss about fabricated to see only on the reduction of time to the market. I have a very big impact also on the emission during the construction phase. The green energy utilization, so have a very good efficiency when we use the energy that we receive from the grid, from the sources, and efficient operation. Putting all together, we can have a very low carbon smart data center. As I said, a lot of time there is not only one action that can reduce the consumption of energy. It's the sum of small action that we can have. We can need to implement to arrive to a very small or maybe a zero carbon foot data centers. Is a lot of people is thinking now. When we speak about clean power supply, I said we need to increase the percent of clean energy that is used in data center. Maybe buying renewable energy, sure, this is a way, but also to implement renewable energy in the data center. We have no aware that, I am not able to provide 100% of the energy consumption data center installing solar panel. Also, if you install 25%, it's 25% less emission, it's 25% less of bill, of cost of energy for you. So it's something that is moving, and it's something that is possible to realize without a big problem. We need to think a data center in a different way, not only as something that consumes energy, but as something that can produce energy sometime. We see the case outside of Moro, but it's a particular case because there is place. Also maybe as a storage of energy. So we need to think differently in a data center, not only as a big fridge, as some of my colleagues said, but it's something that can be iterative with energy distribution. When we think about the low carbon construction, is thinking on the fabricate, we can have sure the time to market is short about 50% and so on. But I like to highlight the first number, 80% of recovery rate, reducing carbon emission above that. Just because if you realize something in the plant, you can manage in a good way the waste that you generate. If you think when you build a standard structure, you look at the waste that they generate, it's incredible amount of waste that they generate. This is a very big impact of the fabricate from environmental. Also for reduce a lot the environmental footprint of data center. Efficient power supply. What means? Have a very efficient solution, all is compacted, all in a controllable way. You need to manage to control all the change of your power distribution from the input, from the main to the output to the equipment. In only one solution, maybe compact, very, very manageable, and with the possibility to look inside what is really happening. Is not only the issue to have a more compact solution, but the idea to have something that you can control exactly what is happening, with a sensor inside to control the status, the temperature inside of a different breaker, of a different distribution bar, maybe setting the intervention of a breaker, without need to go manually to make an intervention. This creates something that is more flexible, more controllable, and more reliable for your data center. When we speak about energy used, is go to efficient cooling. Use natural cooling how much is possible. But also, as I said, change a little the mind. Greece is not a cold country. But in any case, we have a good difference of temperature between night and day. You can think to have different solution or hybrid solution which can use both solutions, a standard cooling system and something that introduce natural cooling. Use maybe natural cooling during the night and different type of cooling during the day. It's something that is possible to do, cost a little more, sure, but you need to look on timing. The life of data center is 15, 20 years, it's not 1 year. You need to think on what will happen in 10 years to my energy cost, which should be the real impact of which should be the operation life, which should be the impact on operation cost of the solution that I am designing now. And this is something that is important to consider, to think on different solutions for the cooling. And then, because I said before, the efficient operation. So look on artificial intelligence to arrive to automatic inspection. Think to have some robot that go around the data center that look on sound. If there is some strange rumor inside, that means if something is working not well. Could be a fan from the cooling system, it could be a fan from a server that can detect something that is working not in a good way and send an alert to the manager, please look to see what is happening on that place. The same to look on some LED, some color or some color. What I said before, change from passive to active prediction. We need to think in the future for big data center, and also when we think to have edge data center. Edge data center means sometimes have a small cabinet spread around the country. Maybe you have 10,000 of cabinets spread around Greece. You think that you are able to plan maintenance to go any month to any site. It's something that is crazy. So we need to move to predictive maintenance, to have a tool that can help you to predict the maintenance, to say, okay, I need to go to this site because I have an advice that something is working not well, there is a distribution that is too hot temperature, there is a fan that is not working well, and I can plan my maintenance on this way. Resource optimization artificial intelligence would mean we said a lot of time that you need to build a data center that you need now, not what you need in 10 years. Resource optimization means that you have a tool that can help you to look on how many resources are available now and how I can increase. How can plan to build a new room, a new building, and so move step by step on this. And on this is strange, but also artificial intelligence can help us. And as last, okay, the energy scheduling, this is what I said before, to think a data center like an energy provider. Now energy, especially in Europe, have no problem of interruption of energy, but they can provide energy in some way to the network, or if there is some need, maybe they can disconnect from the network and use the energy that you have inside as a their backup. I see that there is some other presentation that think on this. But this is the reality, and it's something that we need to think on this. Why not disconnect my data center and go from some minutes, some hour using my battery or my generator that I have inside? It's a new idea on how to work on the data center. For data center is new, but from other type of energy is usual work on this way. And they can make money also in this way. And thank you very much for your attention.